As the final buzzer sounded on the Pistons' 2023 season, two die-hard fans, Mickey and Harry, each passed out and witnessed a vision. They were visited by Detroit's very own mascot, Hooper, the stallion ablaze, who told them the only way the Pistons would ever win a championship again was if these two men started a podcast. To be clear, they said, do we really have to do this? I mean, aren't there enough Pistons podcasts already? It seems like this might be overkill. But Hooper dunked on them, right in their face, and said, your team needs you. He presented them with a prophecy. Now it is their duty to help Detroit rise again and become champions. The Order of the Blazing Horse. Welcome back to yet another episode of The Order of the Blazing Horse, the only Detroit Pistons podcast based on a mystical prophecy. I am one of those prophets, one of the men touched by a horse at the end of the last season. Not in a dirty way, not a gross way, in a spiritual way, in an uplifting way. Harry Morrow's here in the Metro Detroit area, joined as always by my co-prof, my co-host with the most, all the way on the West Coast, as cool and hot as butter on your breakfast toast. Both temperatures, whatever you want it to be. Give it up.
I'm Mickey Jacobs. What's going on, Harry? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. The weather was very nice today. We got a little break in the rain. Really beautiful. It's like 67 degrees, 70 degrees, something like that. Smooth. Went disc golfing. You know how I do. Caring for an ill chicken right now. Hopefully she pulls through. I think she'll be okay, but we shall see. How's by you, man? What's new in your world?
I'm good. I had a solid bowling night the other night. I'll get into that in a moment. What is the name of this ailing chicken?
Blanche, named after
Blanche
Devereaux.
Prayers up for Blanche.
Prayers up for Blanche.
In our thoughts. I had a good bowling night for the first time in a little bit. I've been struggling to maintain the old average, but averaged like 190 on the night. I had a couple 180 something games and then a little 200.
Ooh, you dropped a double century bomb.
Yeah, we're gearing up for our little sweepers tournament in Vegas. I think it's the last weekend of April.
You guys going a trip to Vegas to bowl in this league?
Every season culminates in a little sweepers tourney in Vegas, and one of my teammates has family in Vegas, so I stay with them.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty fun, man.
What is a sweepers tournament?
It's basically so in the last week of league, the league champion for the season, we're not close, by the way. But they win in the last week of the season. But then after that, there's just like another little tournament in Vegas in between that season and the next season where people can win money.
Okay.
So you buy into it, and it's basically just like an opportunity to get some cash and blow off a little steam before the next 50-week season.
So like the
25-week season. They're crazy long.
Like the mid-season tournament or the Emirates in-season cup. It's not for all the marbles.
Exactly.
But you can get a little scratch and a little rep from bowling hard in it.
Perfect analogy.
Thank you. You know, this is a basketball podcast. We're all things NBA. What can I say? I wanted to ask, because people have been asking, or we've been talking about this in my little disc golf crew, and I did it for swimming. I did it for basketball. I still do it now for disc golf, but not as often as I should. Do you visualize?
I do. There's a lot of stimuli. I'm stimming a lot at the bowling alley.
Because you're into that global, right?
Yeah. Oh, that would be sick. There's some fun ones. Get the one with the rose in it.
Oh yeah.
The ball just with the rose in it, or there's one with a grenade. That's pretty fun.
Ooh. Little Janine Garofalo's Mother Skull Mystery Men in it.
Yeah.
Carmine
the
exactly.
But no, I do visualize, but admittedly it's really easy to get distracted, and it's one of those things I imagine like disc golf or golf. I've never really played a round of golf, but there's like a lot of factors that go into one fluidish movement. So I definitely could be better about visualizing, but that's a good, you use that for all of your athletics and your endeavors.
I got put onto it by my high school swim coach, captain of the swim team back in the day. No big deal. No big deal. Was also one of the worst swimmers on our team. I just happened to be one of the oldest, meanest
Intangibles,
guys.
Innate leadership qualities.
I was you're familiar with the term pace car. I was a pace car swimmer. So, but like our swim coach, who is incredible now. Like I had to join the swim team so our school could continue to have a swim team. It was like that dead of a program, and now they're like national competitors. He's still a coach. Shout out Rich Bennett. Great guy. Always called me Morose, and you could always hear him yelling. One of the fun things about swimming is like you're in the pool and you can only hear when you're up, and you only breathe once in a while, right? So you're hearing the coach yell, "Go!" but it's "Go!" ah! But he introduced me to the concept of visualization before our league meets. He had us all laid down and went through every step of the way, visualizing the morning leading up to it, like getting in the car, eating your breakfast, driving to the pool, going through the laps, and then once you got into even like getting onto like the I can't remember. It's been so fucking long. I've been out of high school for so many years.
The pool deck,
but I'm thinking of like the little stand that you jump off of, like all that stuff.
The
like
block.
Really into it, and I don't know. I like a little bit of the woo in the mind sort of stuff, and I like trying to settle your mind. I like the concept of meditation, even though I have never been able to do it all that well. It's tough when you got ADD, but I find, especially in disc golf, because disc golf, I know this isn't the sport you guys came to hear about, but it doesn't matter. Mickey and I are talking about discs and balls and like their lines and stuff.
This is universal.
Yeah, it's universal. You're right. But you can really see the lines and the paths, and you can get in your head how it's supposed to be. So you're not thinking about it too much. Your body just does it. And whether it's true or woo, I don't care. I still like doing it.
No, that's a great tip. And there's a lot of more consistent, better bowlers than myself. Every throw kind of looks the same, and they've got routines, like a free throw routine. See, tying it into basketball. But I'm not like that. My throw can look wildly different from time to time, depending on a number of factors. But I've got room to improve.
I wonder if you implement it, if it'll help out, especially if it'll like make your throws more consistent. And I'm curious, Fred Vincent, if you're watching, I know you're a regular watcher of this. Do you implement visualization in your shooting teaching techniques? Let's bring it to the Pistons, and we can talk about some individual ones. But I wanted to bring it up because I feel like Asar Thompson, while it's not like he's shooting from outside or anything all that often, he still puts up one or two, and every once in a while it's an air ball, every once in a while it's a make. Like, who freaking knows?
Yeah.
His free throw shot looks so much better, and I'm not worried when he's at the free throw line, which is awesome because he's been taken to the rack a lot, not getting called for fouls a whole bunch. But the free throws are coming, and I'm not like anxious that he's at the line. It doesn't feel like he's going to miss him. It kind of feels like he's going to make them. And before, like early in the season, I felt like there was a hitch, like you bring it up, stop, and then go. Mm-hmm. And now it's like one smooth motion. And yeah. I'm loving the results, man.
Who do you trust more at the line now, Malik Beasley or Asar Thompson?
This is going to sound crazy, but it's Asar Thompson because I think Malik's in his head a little bit about it. We mentioned it in one of our drop flop yachts in the game against Cleveland, which is where we'll move to after this. But maybe it was in maybe I talked about it in Slept On, but it doesn't matter. The thing happens regardless. That three, Beasley got fouled on when the Pistons were only up 2 with a few minutes left in the game. He goes to the free throw line, and I was quaking. How were you feeling? Because I was like,
super scared because weirdly, our two best shooters probably have been really weird at the line this season, especially when they have 3 free throws.
Yeah, it's
for some reason the worse.
Très bizarre, as they say on Friday. Yeah. And when he shot that first free throw, it rattled around so much. It popped up. I was like, it's going out. And then it just fell back in. And I felt such a wave of relief fall through me. And I guarantee he did too, because his next two went through like no problem at all. And then Donovan Mitchell missed the next two on the very next possession down. And that was like kind of the story of that game. And that's where I'd love to start when we're going over this 3-game recap that we have here from our last podcast. We did put out some bets. Didn't do so hot in the bets, I will say, but not entirely our fault. More the referee's fault, more Health's fault. Like, no,
it's always the referee's fault and not our fault. I just want to go on record and say that's. I looked at the stats, I checked the numbers, and that's unequivocal.
The NBA.com actually has a stat for this show for our bets
ranked,
and it's got with refs involvement and without refs involvement, and the numbers are wild, varied as far as that goes.
I can see that.
The one, this wasn't a full one. We both got the records wrong for what it was going to be. Again, no Cade, no Tobias, missing Ron, missing Sasser, missing Stu for 1.5 of those games. It feels unfair. It's like an already depleted team to like expect that out of. Here's what I want to give us credit for. I said we beat Cleveland. We beat Cleveland. You said Dennis Schroeder was going to have a huge game. You did say we were talking about points, but he had nearly a triple-double and was enormous. And the one thing I do want to say is somebody who we slept on, who we should not have slept on, is Tim Hardaway Jr., who has been what a friggin' seasoned pro. What a vet. What an awesome guy to have on your team right now.
He's so stellar. And I wanted to highlight after that Cleveland win, in his post-game interview, he was talking about just wanting to like string together some good shooting games for the like towards the end of the season in these last 10 games. Like it's absolutely a priority to him, and especially without the firepower of Cade and Tobias in that Cleveland game, he popped off.
Oh yeah.
But he's really finishing strong here and coming through at the best time. Like everyone's talked about how, I mean, it's not just him, it's all shooters really. Like you can go through streaks, you can go through patches, and you know, there have been stretches where we're like, gosh, I'd really love to find an improvement at that position next season or something. But he's really been clutch when, like, you know, Beasley struggled to shoot last night. So it's really nice to see him step up and fill that vet role when he sees the need.
Absolutely. And like when it comes to him and Beasley, because those are like our 3-point shooters at this point in the season, right?
Volume.
One thing that's been very cool about both of them is that's not the only way they've been scoring and attacking offensively. They've both been driving and kind of finishing near the rim. Both have dunked. Tim Hardaway seems like he likes to come in from like the baseline almost and get these like baseline layups, whereas Beasley will attack head on and do his like little floater or little midi. And Beasley, even when he misses, he tends to get a lot of his own offensive rebounds, which has been excellent. And I'm just happy to see that, because when you look at these games as a whole, without Cade, without Tobias, whose injury concern I am concerned about, and without having Sasser or Ron to like help generate some of the offense stuff. Honestly, even without Stu, because Stu in the pick and roll is like kind of nice with it a little bit. And he's a 3-point threat to a very low degree. It has been very difficult for the Pistons to generate looks. Like they're really having to work for it. And I mean, talk about going against some big teams, the two bigs of Cleveland, the two bigs of the Thunder, and even in Minnesota, like Rudy Gobert down there, big stuff that these guys, and Julius Randle on top of the defensively,
Nas too.
Well, for half a game, right? Half a game. They've really showed up, and it's been nice. We don't have the same level of creation. We don't have like the same ease of getting buckets. It just demonstrates how helpful both Cade and Tobias are, like just how big of threats they are on the ball. But regardless of that, they were in literally every one of these games, and we're kind of dominating that Minnesota game before the DiVincenzo Intervencio show that went down. But again, let's start with the Cleveland game. What did you like about that? What did you see that made you happy? What did you dislike about the game?
I feel like they did a really good job of shutting down Mobley. And I was worried about that because he's given us the business before. And to his credit, like depoy candidate, having a hell of a season. That outside shot has really opened things up. I also feel like our rotations were better,
So good.
like at the perimeter, because that's an area where we can get burned. That and the backdoor cuts are really sometimes where we get freaking spanked. But no, we were really on it. And I also just feel like they played with such a fire and felt the heat of, we've lost 12 in a row to these guys. Our coach used to coach these guys. And I
We
also have
lost
to
to them
shout
at the
out too,
buzzer last time because of a ridiculous Darius Garland shot.
insane Darius Garland. But that was without Donovan Mitchell, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were healthy, just like the core of the Thunder were healthy. Not to get ahead, but I also want to shout out to he's struggled to shoot the ball since being a Piston. He's been great in other ways, but Schroeder hit that dagger.
Yeah.
He hit the dagger to ice that game, and it was sick.
It was awesome. I was so friggin' loud when that went down. It was really nuts. And he got like that drive right before, or like the midi. He had like the short midi on top of it. Like the Pistons were beating the shit out of the Cavs in that game. Like truly stomping on them. To get beaten that bad without Cade Cunningham being there, who is their only star. Like, it's not like when Jason Tatum's out and they're like, okay, well, you got Jaylen Brown and Kristaps and Derek White popping off, or Donovan Mitchell's out. You're like, okay, I got Darius, we got Evan Mobley. When the Pistons are down Cade, it's like, okay, it's a bunch of these guys. Like,
yeah,
we'll see. That's one thing that is like so miraculous. And I want to give JB Bickerstaff like mad credit for this. This team even went down to like, people say down to the studs, down to the stumps. This is how low these guys were. We're talking about missing 5 players, even not in the Cavs game, but like the other games like that. When you're missing your best guy for 5 straight, to still be that competitive, to beat the number 1 team in the East, to be beating the shit out of Minnesota, which they were owning Minnesota up until that brawl, to be within 4 points of the Thunder without 5 of your players, with a fully healthy Thunder with 3 minutes left in the game. This is a crazy competitive team that has no business on paper being in these games. That's how impactful JB has been. That's how good the defense he's taught has been. That is how tied together this team is, that they're all on the same page, that they're all stepping out, and how bad they friggin' want it.
Really well put. Yeah, it's just so cool to see the fight from these guys, you know. Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
It's all right. It's a great transition into the fight against Minnesota that we watched that resulted in what, to be quite honest, a not foul from Ron Holland. He did not foul Naz Reid. That was all ball. Like, as soon as I saw the replay, I was like, you can't be serious about this call, right? And I know things were chipping between Dante and Stu like the whole way going through, but Dante came in, put his hands on Ron. Isaiah Thomas said, you cannot come and put your hands on a man like that.
It's
straight up
the hand on the neck. And I don't understand, because I feel like this season, I thought I understood it, where if someone slaps your hand while your hand's on the ball, then it's part of the ball, unless you play for the Detroit Pistons.
I don't get it. I really don't understand.
There's more. Like, I don't want to get all over the place, but Hartenstein had a clean block against Duren yesterday. I don't know if you were watching, but he like literally holds him back with his off arm is holding him back, and everyone's saying it's clean. All the broadcasters are saying it's clean. I'm losing my mind. I know if the roles are reversed, that's a foul.
It happened against Simone Fontecchio in the Cavs game too. I believe Dean Wade went for a layup and he got fouled, but the foul was, he went up, he off-armed in the air Tech. You can see on the replay, way off-arm on Tech, and still went up and got it. I know every team complains about the fouls and stuff, but it does feel like Detroit plays feisty, aggressive D with young players, and the refs haven't caught up to respecting them enough yet. I mean,
Yeah.
That when we get to that Thunder game, the way it was officiated was like kind of wild, to be honest. And I get it. Shea's gonna get his calls, but here's another wild stat that
Sorry, which Thunder game?
This last Thunder game, both Thunder
Yeah.
game, all the
Sorry.
Thunder games.
It's kind of a blur.
It's all together like that. One ridiculous stat that I pulled up. So Cade's been gone for the last 5 games. Yes. During the 2024-2025 season, the Pistons average 22 free throw attempts a game. In the last 5 games with Cade gone, 31 free throw attempts a game, with Cade driving it to the rim nonstop. It is insane. He doesn't get calls. I'm happy the Pistons are starting to get some calls, but it's just nuts. I want to put this out there to Cade. Grow your hair out long as fuck over the summer. Like, just get long hair and braid it so you can flow your head back and let the braids be the whistle whisperers so they can start getting in there, because you got to start getting some calls coming in. That
interesting strategy.
Hey man, we've seen Brunson do it. We see Darius Garland do it. Trey doesn't have that sort of hair, but he does have like the whippy body.
No, he does not.
He does not. It's whatever. I just want to see more calls for it. I want to see Asar get some calls. I feel like if this team does well enough in the playoffs, and I say this like every year, not just me, everyone says this, like if they get more respect, they'll start getting more calls. I want to fucking see it. I want to see superstar calls next year after we do damage in the playoffs, which I do think we will do. I think the fight suspensions were fine. It is what it is. I think Dante should have been suspended 2 games for being an instigator. I get why Stu was suspended 2 games. But in that game specifically, it totally changed the momentum, because getting rid of so much Detroit depth and their head coach with just 2 role players, like 2 bench players for the already star-studded Minnesota Timberwolves, didn't have the same sort of effect. They still had Ant, they still had they still had Gobert. Like they're
Conley cooked us.
It seemed like the momentum really swung, and it seemed like Ant really woke up when the Pistons were mad depleted.
Yeah, go figure. When our defensive anchor is off the floor, it's a lot easier to score the ball.
Crazy how that worked out. And you were missing both our spark plugs offensively with Ron and Sasser, because that's what they do. They're a bench spark, and Stu is the defensive bench spark. And in the Thunder game, I thought it was really going to be a problem. I mean, it started out that way. Like the Pistons looked down bad, and then they crawled back at the end of the first half, brought it within 4, then the half became 6, whatever, with a 12-4 run at the end of it. Let the lead stretch again in the third quarter. And then they brought it back again close with some big-time defense. The defense just looked kind of phenomenal throughout that game, outside of the first opening stretch. And the one big takeaway I have from the way the Pistons have been playing, and you should feel this way too if you're watching, is everybody on this team is there to compete and can make a difference and can hang in any game against any team, with or without Cade. It is not a problem. You should not be worried if Cade's not on the floor anymore. This team is aggressive. This team can stop you. This team can go on the run, and this team can make you pay for your mistakes.
No, it's so true. I remembered what I was going to say earlier too. You were praising JB, and it's really impressive the way that teams like OKC and Indiana and Boston are constructed, where pretty much everyone can shoot and defend and put the ball on the deck. We don't have that. We have a bunch of really solid role players who happen to be united by this crazy magic that is surrounding the team this season. And they're just delivering in ways that they never really have before. And kudos to JB for figuring out how to make those lineups work, especially when you remove literally the offensive engine and the person with the second most minutes behind him, because that is not easy. And I just wanted to shout out Paul Reed for stepping up big time. I know he had a lot of fouls in 14 minutes, but he also almost had a double-double in 14 minutes with 2 stocks against the Thunder. Really impressive stuff. And as I think you brought this up before, but it makes me not worry as much about Duren getting into foul trouble, because you got Stu behind him generally. And behind him, you got B-Ball Paul. which is a great position to be in. To respond to what you said about the Pistons getting a better whistle next season, I agree. I think it'll happen. Shea in an interview was talking about his foul baiting and was talking about how he drives the ball a lot. You know who else drives the ball a lot? Cade. Does he get nearly the foul calls that Shea gets? No, he does not.
Regardless of the gift baskets we sent the referees association.
I put a full on Coney dog in the that's shelf stable until the year 3000. Everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm. Those Coney dogs last as long as the amount of rat droppings within it. You get 1 year for every rat.
That's the preservative. Mm-hmm. That's what keeps it. That's what keeps it. They're doing something right over at Lafayette. You're not going to hear a bad word out of me, but they'll be back. They'll be back open. But yeah, no, it's just really impressive how everyone stepped up. Yeah, hopefully Shea, like Cade gets more of a Shea style whistle if they do well in the playoffs. I want Asar to get like a Kawhi level defensive level in time. Yeah, I really hope that the playoff performance and just the excitement surrounding the team outweighs this like really dated bias that the league has. Even Finch, like the way he spoke after the game, I thought that was really not cool. And it reminded me a lot of like historic Pistons hate from, you know, like Michael Jordan back in the day and the Celtics, and just people saying like, oh, what they're doing is bad for the game. They're undeserving champs. Like, shut up. You know, bro, anyone arguing for the game to be less physical in 2025, what are you doing?
What's so funny about that to me from Finch specifically, Fink. Let's call him Fink from now on. Chris Fink.
There you go.
But all the broadcasts, when they talk about the bad boy attitude, they say it in a praising way. They're like, it's back. This is great for the game. This reminds us of those bad boy teams, those going to work teams, when those teams were unstoppable. It's not like there's a problem with this. It's like, we love seeing this and teams have to deal with it. And like, I hate the stigma. Even there was an Athletic article about the brawl, and it was like blamed on the Pistons. And I don't know how you could watch that game and say that it was like, I know I'm a homer, big time homer. We've been over this, but
we'll own our biases for sure.
But that was not Detroit instigated. Sometimes it is. When Stu pulled down Giannis, that was the Detroit instigation problem.
Hard to defend that.
Impossible. And the Ron DiVincenzo, Sasser, Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert from a million feet away with his fist up incident, which by the way should have been a suspension. It technically is a suspension when you have
anytime you raise your dukes.
Yep.
Just ask Ron.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like it's wild to me that like that sort of attitude happens. And I get that like Beasley talking trash, which he should have been because the dude was on fire. Beasley's so awesome when he's talking trash. I get that gets in your head and that like irritates you. And I get that you want to be for your team and like back them up, because that's why JB got tossed, is apparently the assistant coach Pablo, whose last name I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I feel bad about that, but you are an assistant coach. I will need assistance in order to remember that last name.
There it is.
But JB after the game was like, I'm not going to let him disrespect my guys and say bad stuff about my guys like that. So I get you want to have your guys back, but saying like the intensity raised up mostly from their side, to be honest with you, is just not true. Like it felt like such a bitch move. So whatever, I get it. Like get your guys back, but like I hope national attention doesn't stay this negative about Detroit. And I don't even really know if it is, because so much of the attention I'm getting or I'm privy to is local. So I don't really know. I don't really know what people think about the team. All I know is that when people talk to me about it, they're excited about the Pistons. They're excited about the Pistons resurgence. And because they're my friends that I'm talking to, they're excited for me and for us and for what we've been through. So we know this team is tough as old boots. We know that they finished 1-2 over the stand. They have 6 games left. The next 3, Mickey, are against Toronto.
Dub.
That I hope so.
Book it.
It's got to be. Toronto's tanking and Detroit's a better team, like just straight up. And then Memphis, Memphis is feeling some kind of way right now. They are going
That might be
through it.
tough.
Just
Jaw seems back.
he's back, but the team is losing at a gross rate. They fired their head coach. They can't win these close games. They're dropping in the standings. I think they were number 2 for a while, and now they're down to like almost play-in territory. 44,
I didn't realize that.
44 and 32. Let me get their record up.
I didn't know they were on such a skid.
Yeah, it's been bad for them. Let's see. Schedule. Go down. They've lost 4 straight. They've lost 7 of their last 8, 9 of their last 11. So it's been
4 games since we had a dub.
It's rough for them. They got Miami next. Miami's been playing better. They have Detroit. After that, they've got Charlotte, Minnesota, Denver, Dallas. So it's going to be tough for Memphis in this coming week. They need that win against Detroit. It's going to be a big game, but Detroit needs that win against Memphis to get back on the right track. And then after that, they got Sacramento, which is another team kind of, I think, in the play-in world. I don't even know where the standings are.
I would think so, yeah.
For that. Pistons, playoff standings. Playoffs, Western Conference. So Sacramento is in the 10 spot. They are 1 game ahead of Phoenix, which is so sad. 1 game ahead of Phoenix.
That's out of play-in territory, right?
Phoenix is out of the play-in. They're number 11 in the West, 35 and 41.
By 1 game?
Yeah. Sacramento.
Do they play today?
I think they do. Let's take a look.
Wow.
Yeah, I think. Let me see the scores, because that's 1 game to watch today. Oh no, the Suns don't play today. The games that matter today are Orlando, Washington, because if Orlando wins, Detroit still has to win to clinch the 6th seed. But if Orlando loses, Pistons are in. They're probably in anyway, but whatever. And then the Bucks and the 76ers. It sucks that the teams we need to lose are going against teams that are tanking at the moment. And then, yeah, Memphis has Miami tonight. So that's rough on them. But yeah, so like Sacramento is the game after that. So the next 3, Toronto, Memphis, Sacramento. Toronto needs to lose. Memphis and Sacramento need to win. They're both in the play-in right now. I think Memphis is like 8th at the moment in the West. So big drop off for them.
Yeah.
And then after that, as we all know, next week we have New York, the Bucks. And we'll see what sort of
that's tight
situation it's going to be for both teams. Like, I think New York is like probably fine right now. They're probably getting up the 3 seed. It seems like Indiana is locked in at that 4 seed. So it's really just going to be the Detroit Pistons and the Milwaukee Bucks fighting for that 5-6 spot is my guess at this point.
Well, all this standings talk just reminds me, obviously we're the number 1 Pistons podcast based off of Mystical Prophecy. But we're always looking for more subscribers. We want you to like, we want you to subscribe, we want you to comment, we want you to ring that little bell so that you know when we're going live, when we're streaming. We're cranking out content on Substack, we're on Blue Sky, we're live skeeting games. That's been a lot of fun. We're doing instant reactions. We're just trying to grow, and it gets harder every day, but we are trying to have as many subscribers to our YouTube as Malik Beasley has threes made by the end of the season. And it's a lofty goal. He's made a lot of threes, but you know what?
Damn near 300.
Yeah. But come postseason, I think people are really going to join the order. And I think they're really going to want to lock in to everything that's going on. And we're not just doing analysis and breakdowns. We're having fun. We're playing games. We've got some exciting stuff planned in the next couple of weeks. So you're going to want to be involved.
We get guests that nobody else is getting on here. We're getting comedy legends, movie stars in here. Former athletes in here. We're all former athletes in here. Shoot, we might even get you in here one of these days. You play your cards right. But
think about it.
We also want to get your voice in here. And some of that's in the chat. We'd love to have you in the chat. But we've been putting up these polls during the season as well. Let me go to that now.
God, that's a good segue.
Oh, thank you. It's something.
It's connective tissue.
Connective tissue.
This is a fun one.
Yeah. So one of the polls that we put up on Order of the Blazing Horse, we wanted to hear from you. What did you think? And also, look at this. We need that number to be bigger. Too hard.
Sheesh. Yeah, come on.
Meat is one. But the poll was, should the Detroit Pistons rest Cade Cunningham? Which is, at this point, moot. But we want to talk about it anyway, because he's been out for 5 straight games at this point. Many of us wanted the Pistons to rest him. Let's see what the results said. Some people said 1 to 2. Some people said 3 to 5 games. No one said why. Everyone wanted him to get some rest. One person said, or maybe not one person, but like a small portion said no, push for home court advantage. That's out. The majority said one of the back-to-backs, right? I think that's what we expected. He got this calf contusion. The Pistons decided to rest him or like keep him out for a little while. And I thought it was going to be like a 1-game rest, 2-game rest. 5 is kind of a lot. Mickey, are you concerned about the calf contusion?
No, I'm not. First of all, I didn't even see it happen. I don't mean to put on my conspiracy Carl tinfoil hat or anything, but no, I'm sure he's a little dinged up, but and I'm totally speculating, by the way, before you come at me saying I'm not a sports medicine scientist, which is fair. But no, I think this is just being cautious, and I think we'll know once we get into the playoffs if he's like day-to-day still, or if that's just a tag so that they can manage his load without saying we're doing load management, because there's all sorts of rules about that now. But he's put in a Herculean effort this season. He's played more games than he ever has his entire career. He's going to be all NBA. This is just me choosing to remain optimistic in a very homery way, but I'm just going to hope that they're being cautious. And maybe part of the reason why there's so many games is that they like would rather play the Knicks or aren't super keen on getting home court advantage, or at least not if it means burning out our guys.
Right. Like, is the risk of home court advantage, like acquiring it, do you think it's as feasible as it is likely that the risk of inflaming a Cade injury and a Tobias injury just to play the same team one fewer game at home when this team has been awesome on the road? Like one of the best teams.
Great point.
On the road. Is it worth it to push your players to the brink when they've been working so hard? And we said it in the last podcast, their game is fast-paced. Their game is in transition, pushing the tempo, moving quickly, being athletic, using a lot of guys. Is it worth it to risk all that? Or do you rest your guy? Do you rest some of your players? And on top of that, because of Cade's absence, we've had the opportunity to see how this team can handle that sort of adversity. And they're doing a damn good job of it. Like, again, they beat Cleveland, the number 1 seed, and they hung tough with the Thunder, the number 1 overall seed, when they were super depleted. With Cade resting, I hope he gets fully back. He's played more games than he's ever played in his career. He's played more minutes per game than he ever had in his career. He's playing lights out. People were complaining about the 3-point shot. Maybe it was looking a little bit tired. Who knows? Like, get healthy, get rejuvenated, come back when the playoffs matter. I'm fine with it. Playing the 5 seed, playing the 6 seed, I don't care. I don't care if you're playing New York. I don't care if you're playing Indiana. I think the Pistons can beat either in a series. And that's what I want to see. I want to see the Pistons win a series. And I would love to see them win multiple series, to be quite honest with you. I straight up think it's possible. And again, we said this in the last podcast, injuries matter in the playoffs. It doesn't seem, at least we haven't heard anything about the severity of it the same way the Brunson ankle injury was or is. We don't really know at this point. But if it is just rest, I'm super cool with it. I'm super cool with it happening this way. I think this is super speculation too. I think there might have been a chance that Cade played in this last game against the Thunder had it not been for all those suspensions, because what's the point in rushing him back if the team was that depleted
and giving him a huge load to carry? Yeah, I agree with that. And I think your point too about seeing what the team can do without him, like Sasser hasn't had that kind of minutes in a while. It's good for him to like dust off the cobwebs. Not that he's not always ready, because he
hot and ready
perhaps more than anyone is hot and ready as ever. But even seeing like THJ take on a larger, a more ravenous shot diet, shall we say? Yeah, like him really like honing that 3-point shot towards the end of the season, getting big contributions from guys like Paul Reed, because I think in the playoffs you're gonna want that guy to not be rusty. I think it's good under the assumption that like, Cade's not missing actual playoff games. I think he'll play at least one of the Bucks games, and hopefully that New York game too, because I think these matchups are important.
I really want to see what's going down. I really hope it's not a serious injury. We'll see. I am concerned about the Tobias Harris injury. I want to transition into that. I brought this up a little bit earlier, but he played against the Thunder and he had to leave because of the right ankle tendinopathy. And that's no good, because when Tobias isn't in the game, your size is lacking considerably. He does a more than admirable job at the four position, defending those bigger guys. And when the Thunder went too big, that was too much. And if Asar is tasked with playing the floor, that means Asar cannot guard the best player on the other team, because chances are they're not a 4, right? Like when Asar was on SGA, sick, awesome stuff.
So good.
I believe in Bryce's notes for Motor City Hoops, he was pointing out that like teams are trying to switch off him, and Asar looks like he's trying to get to avoid those switches. I would love to see it, but if he's tasked with playing the 4 because Tobias isn't there, that's a problem, because our only other 4 is Tech, right? And Tech plays great defense. I think he's been doing a great job of it all year, but that's only one other player. You can't really have Tim Hardaway Jr. play the 4. They're not letting Stu play the 4. They don't want him to play the 4. Plus, he's suspended anyway. Paul Reed's not playing the 4. So it puts them in a difficult position. I think Tobias Harris is way more important than we gave him credit for being, because in reality, Asar Thompson is the 3. He's a wing defender.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see. And that's where my injury concern comes in the most, because we need the Pistons' best chance of success is if Asar is stopping the most important player on the other team.
No, you're right. And to my point about our roster makeup is, there's domino effects to pulling one out, a bunch other ones fall over. It's tricky, and I do think JB's been managing it really well. But you're right, Asar is the most valuable when he's locking down the other team's best player. A lot of times that's a perimeter player, and when it's not him and maybe Dennis is on the bench, I feel like a lot of times Malik ends up guarding other teams' best shooters, and that don't work out so good.
Not so great. He gets steals. I'll give him this, and he does try, but he's just not anywhere near the level of defense.
He's great like in passing lanes, but like on ball on the perimeter, not great.
A little slow on the feet. It's just like a little bit tough. And speaking of roles, I mean, with that's another area where Sasser can help out, because Sasser is actually a pretty solid defender. I know people say he's short, but he's good.
He's quick.
He's a good defender. He gets steals. He's a pest. Ron too. Ron, serious pest. It's strange. Ron's a little bit taller than Asar, but he's not able to handle the 4 defensively as much. But I'd still like to see him out there, like contributing to it.
He's kind of skinny.
Yeah, a little bit light. He's 19 years old. Like, can you imagine how beefy he's going to be in 2 years?
Yeah, and you know what else? I think his style of play, Asar's too, hopefully, but like just thinking about some of those steals, where he like will get a steal on an inbound pass and then get a bucket and do something else crazy back to back. Like, I think that kind of play will fare very well in the playoffs.
I agree.
And we talked about how we don't really think JB is going to shorten rotations all that much. Like, I think you kind of need a Ron in the playoffs.
What is the point of shortening the lineup the rotation when everyone contributes something different that's important to this team's success.
Balance.
Mm-hmm. There's no reason not to let all these guys play in the playoffs to see what all these guys have, because they're still evaluating all these guys. The other thing I wanted to talk about, like as far as those domino pieces going, with Sasser out, with Cade out, Malik Beasley in the Thunder game was playing point guard. Like he had to play backup point essentially.
Yeah,
which is not his role, and it doesn't work to his strength. He did an admirable job as doing some of that, but that takes away his ability to run off ball and get catch and shoot threes. There's been a lot of Duren like ball handling as well, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't hated it. Like I want to see him develop because he believes he can, and he had a sick drive in the Thunder game, and like I believe in him and in getting better and believing more in himself and like taking care of the ball on the way in. His shot diet around the rim is no longer just dunks. He's got this like hook shot going on right now, which is working for him. His free throw percentage is up from the 50% it was at the start of the season. He's looking like his old self. His like little drop off passes to Malik Beasley are awesome, and literally to everybody are awesome. So, and we're also seeing some like flashes of ball handling out of Asar too. Like sometimes Asar pulls a move and it's like, geez, friggin' Louise, man. In the Minnesota game, his attempt at a 360 layup that he got fouled by Naz Reid on was unbelievable. And the spin he had earlier to get the basket, it's just wild. This team is showing great areas of progress in Cade's absence, in Tobias's absence, getting THJ hot as we lead into the playoffs, seeing what Ron and what Sasser can do. All this stuff is important. And to your point earlier, when we were talking about like everybody contributing in their own way, this team, the makeup of this team is affordable enough to stay together for a long time. Like, no, this ain't no super team. You don't have to be like scraping the bottom of free agency the way the Phoenix Suns did when they went after their big three. This is a team you can keep together, and I would love to see them keep together.
Me too. I was actually just thinking about the fact that this season, as we've said for a long time now, the team will go as far as Cade Cunningham takes them. And he's taken them very far. And you've seen really nice incremental, but like sizable improvements from Duren and Ivy. Next season, I really think Asar is the linchpin. Not just because he's going to improve. Like I would bet money right now that he will improve purely on the basis that it'll be his first time having a legit off season and just all of the strides that we've seen him make in the short amount of games that he's played, but also chemistry, that full off season, and just figuring out how to best utilize him. I think having a full summer together with the whole squad healthy will be really huge. And just really excited to see. I'm not even saying it'll look more like how Amen is for the Rockets, but just I'm excited to see him get more touches. I'm excited to see him kind of become like, I think he's going to become like a pretty perpetual, like putting up close to a triple double most games. Even if it's more of like a Draymond triple double, you know, where it's like 11, 10, and 11, you know, like I just think he does everything. And like, yeah, I don't know. He could get that 5x5 in the next couple of years. I really wouldn't be shocked.
It might happen this year. Like the stocks have been out of control with him as of late. 6 stocks in 2 of the last 3 games against 2 of the best teams, the 2 best teams in the NBA.
If he can stay out of foul trouble, it's just like a foregone conclusion that he's going to rack up hella stocks.
You know what else is wild? This is going to be the first year in 4 years that the Pistons will have the same coach 2 years in a row. That's a little consistency.
And like, as we've already sung his praises, JV's so great, but like, even if, you know, people who know more about ball than I do, maybe there's like X's and O's stuff that I'm not seeing that could be improved. Fine. Just on the basis of him like getting tossed from that game and just how much he is fighting for this team on a night to night basis has been night and day and made this team so much more fun to watch. And I I mean, they've talked about how much they love fighting for him, and it's a best case scenario, I think.
It's great. He's the perfect man for this team. So happy to have him. So happy he's here. He's the coach of the year, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if he wins the award or not. He's the fucking coach of the year. Everybody in the Pistons knows.
You know, when you can't open a jar. I mean, not you, because you're incredibly strong. But
I got these,
when one can't open a jar.
I have these little hands. I have such a hard time opening jars for whatever reason. They're so small.
Okay, maybe you know all too well the struggle of having a tough jar to open. It's like when someone's been going at it really hard and just like working it, and they just, for whatever reason, they stop, and then they hand it off to another guy, and they just like immediately pop it open. It's like, well, I loosened it. JB loosened the calves for Kenny Atkinson.
Absolutely.
I'm not taking anything away from Atkinson. He's a great coach, and it's been an incredible season, but he got them there, and we're in the stage of needing to get there. And if we're at a point where we feel like we're plateauing at second round or whatever, great. I look forward to having that problem.
For real. Also, here's my one pushback against Kenny Atkinson winning it. The Cavs aren't even the best team in the NBA. They don't have the best record in the NBA. So maybe give it to the only team that's ever tripled their win total in a single fucking season, especially without adding anybody huge. Come on. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. People love saying that the Pistons are the best story in the NBA, but they don't love like giving them the awards that reflect that.
Well,
so.
I mean, we'll see. Truly, JB's worthy of it. Malik is more than worthy of Sixth Man of the Year. Like Cade will be all NBA, I'm sure.
MIP. Whatever.
I feel about the MIP the same way I felt about the Coach of the Year. Like, if that's how the awards go, cool. JJ Redick said as much that Cade's essentially going to win it. He goes, that's not even it's not about most improved player. It's just the all-star who's now in a supermax, who's now all NBA. That's how it works out. Make that the name of the award. And if that's what happens, fine. I
don't agree I don't agree that Josh should have got it when he did, but whatever. If that's how they're doing it, then yes, Cade certainly fits that criteria.
Sure. It's fine. I'm fine with it. No big deal. But as we talk about the playoffs, let's transition over to our other poll that we got your opinion on. And that is, which problem area do the Pistons need to fix for the playoffs? And Mickey, do you remember what the options were?
I think so, because I think I wrote this poll. It was perimeter D. Is that up there?
Nope.
I can't see it. Is it spacing bigs?
Nope.
Starting spacing bigs?
But those are two new ones. Let me read out the ones that are on there.
Please. I'm striking out.
Which was the overwhelming one with 50%. Asar's
turnovers, you said?
Cade's turnovers, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
In second place, THJ's shooting. Not worried about that.
No.
Third place, Asar's foul trouble. And then Duran's foul trouble got 0. And nothing we Gucci got 0. So I actually think the ones that you brought up are maybe better and maybe more important.
Yeah, I forgot this poll was more geared towards individual players. And yeah, I think for the time being, like, turnovers are going to be just like lumps that you have to take with Cade Cunningham. Like, I think it's a usage thing. I think it's his tendencies. And, if he weren't averaging the numbers that he was and leading the team to do the things that they have, it might bother me more. It's like probably my biggest pet peeve in basketball is turnovers. But hopefully it's just something that he improves. But I do think like ball pressure is going to get even crazier in the playoffs. And, I hope not to see like 9-10 turnover games, but it's funny. I forget who pulled this, but I think actually his stats are pretty high, or the win percentage is pretty high, even when his turnovers are really high. Because I feel like it's like he'll get 10 turnovers, but he'll have like 20 assists.
It's also a lot of times, like, a lot of those turnovers come when the Pistons are up by like 30 points and he's like just going through the motions, essentially. Yeah. Like, it's the ones that we all hate are his like careless looking turnovers, right? Yeah. And those happen when the team is in an insurmountable lead. So yeah, the numbers are high. He's got the ball in his hands 90% of the time. He's doing literally everything, and he's not getting the fouls called, which also leads to turnovers on top
yes,
of that. Right?
That's a great point.
So like that's just a small thing. I get it. He's turning the ball over. It is an issue he has to fix. There's no way he doesn't know that. He's a basketball savant, and he's a huge student of the game and of his own play. He's incredibly critical of himself. I expect that to not be a monster issue, although I do think it'll be a major talking point throughout the playoffs. What issue?
It's always sort of followed him.
Yeah. I mean, when you hold on the ball, it's going to follow.
Yeah, Spo brought that up after one of their games against the Heat. Just how some of his turnover numbers are overblown, and I trust Eric Spoelstra. and he cited the usage. When the usage is that high, you really have to take some of those turnovers with a grain of salt. And I think it's incredible when guys like peak Chris Paul or like Tyrese Halliburton or like really those are like two of the only guys that have like crazy high assists to super low turnover numbers. And there's a lot of other things
as well, if I remember right. I think Harden's kind of good at that as well, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I feel like his turnover numbers have been a little higher. Like I was going to bring up Trae Young, but I feel like he's turned the ball over plenty.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of these high guys, like high usage distributor guys, it's like a little over 2-1, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's gonna be what it's gonna be for now.
I want to give a shout out to Keith Jefferson, Keith E. Jefferson on our Substack. Great commentator. Thank you for being a member of the order, a great member of the order. He said scoring will be their biggest challenge, specifically shooting from distance. They should consistently attack the cup to open up wide open looks. THJ should attack more. And that was the case when we posted this. And now THJ is attacking more. I think he's doing a pretty great job of it. We covered that earlier in there. So Keith, I think your dream has come true, man. So that should make it a little bit easier for the Pistons to compete in the playoffs. Mickey, what are you concerned about? What is the thing you think they need to truly fix on the way in?
Yeah, I'm really, because Asar foul trouble, I'm hoping isn't going to be as prevalent in the postseason. I'm hoping that they give him a little bit of a longer leash for that. But I am worried about guarding the 3 ball. Sometimes our rotations are so good and so tight, and sometimes we just can't keep up. And I really want to see them like beat a team like the Celtics, or a team that really relies on the 3 ball, because I just think the Pistons, as Isaiah Thomas referenced when he was singing the Pistons praises, like teams like the Celtics live and die like the 3 ball. Like the Pistons are going to live and die by their defense, and that's what they're about. And I want to see that ethic sort of debunk the like, oh, well, if you get up enough threes with this group of guys, you're going to win out eventually. And obviously the Celtics are more dynamic than that, but that is the bread and butter of their offense. So I'm worried about it. I've seen mixed results.
So I'm not as worried about the 3-point shooting, because I do feel like their rotations have been good or better, and they've proven that they can shut those down. And like they're able to compete in such a way where teams can't just like run in and take advantage of their perimeter defense anymore either. Like Duran's so much better defensively at the rim, like crazy, so much better. And Stu is like the biggest portcullis I've ever seen by the rim. If I may use some medieval history, architecture.
I nodded like I understood it, okay. But I'm going to do some Googling later.
Whatever. He's a protector down there. So
I used context clues. I knew what you meant.
Sorry, I used to love medieval history so much back in the day in castles and shit.
Used to.
I still kind of do.
Come on.
But I used to love it. Big Red Wall fan over here. But the part of the defense, and you brought this up, that concerns me the most, and I'm expecting it to bite them in the ass, is the backdoor cuts, like allowing backdoor cuts. And here's what I hope. If that is what is the Pistons' downfall in these big playoff games, then that sticks in every one of those players' craw, and they hold on to it for next season, because that is an awareness off ball problem. It's not a scheme problem. It's not the guy that you're guarding, you're watching problem. It's that you're not paying enough attention to the game as a whole, and you let someone slip by you in a way they shouldn't. And those moments, just like those Ron free throws that he missed against Milwaukee. Sorry, Ron, that we keep bringing this up, but it's a learning moment nonetheless. And I'm sure you've been so much better from that since anyway. It doesn't really matter. They won't forget it. If that's what kills them, if that's what sinks them in the playoffs, these players will not forget it. So that's my rose-colored glasses, if that is the missile that sinks the Pistons ship.
Can I first of all, I think that's super valid and a great concern. And I think that's one of those things that could stay with you all summer if you let it.
You're so validating. What a co-host. What a bud.
I don't know. Here's another thing I'm a little concerned about, and there's nothing helpful about me saying this, but it is an area where the team has struggled at various points, because you bring up those missed free throws. Again, not to twist the blade, Ron. We're sorry. We love you. Is the mental game. Because there's absolutely been situations where the Pistons' mental or lack thereof has cost them. I think, to his credit, Malik brought up his failures in the postseason, like when he played for the Lakers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Bucks really gave him as much run, but I don't think he was great for them either.
He was just so misused on the Bucks, like so crazy misused on the Bucks.
So we'll write that one off. But just even seeing like how he's wiggling and doing the shimmy in the first quarter, and then sometimes by the fourth quarter he's demoralized and missing free throws. Similarly with Ron and Stu getting heated, okay, if let's say the Pistons play in the first round against the Pacers, would you bet money that there would be no ejections on the Pistons side?
I
know you're not a big gambler.
I think I would. I don't think
really.
I don't think there would be an ejection. I do think it would be chippy. Like for real. I think people might foul out, and there might be like a bit of a scuffle. But I'm gonna go with 0 ejections in that series.
0 flagrant twos or double techs.
Maybe a double tech. I guess.
Yeah,
that's
a double tech's happening.
Right.
You know it.
I think that's very valid. But I don't think anyone's going to be like suspended. How about that? 0 suspensions, maybe an ejection.
Yeah. But anyway, I think this is not a criticism of the Pistons necessarily. It's just the fact that they're young. Most of them have not played in the playoffs, and they want to play physical and they want to talk shit. And then sometimes when other teams do that, it rattles them. And that's a growth thing. That's, I like that they have that chip. I certainly wouldn't be like, until you win championships, you can't talk smack. Like, I'm not of that belief. But you've just seen moments like, remember when Ron used to get those over and backs?
Yeah.
Or double dribbles. Dribbles, rather. He had a few double dribble turnovers. I think he got to the line on kind of a bullshit foul call that was like basically a double dribble, and they were chirping at him at the line, and he missed both. This wasn't even the Bucks situation. I think this was a different one.
Ron is an emotional man.
He is. A lot of the team is, and I think it's what makes them great. And I think it's been very productive in terms of juice numbers. But juice levels, but there's another edge to that too, and I just hope that they can like keep their heads on straight. And that by the way, it's not all on him. That's going to be a real test of Cade's leadership.
Oh yeah, I agree completely. Which he has done all season. He's been good at keeping like Stu down and like talking to people. Tobias has been pretty good about that too. And like what's so funny is like you have a coach that isn't into calming players down. He's into, oh, you up? I'm up. We up.
Yeah.
Your face. So
it's infectious.
It happens. By the way, I was trying to interrupt you earlier, which I apologize for, but I think we got to make some merch, make some juiced merch. Pistons are like getting juiced merch. I'll talk to my incredible wife Hannah to see if she can like maybe help design something in that regard. We'll see. If you, I know there aren't that many people watching right now, but if you watch this, if you're listening, first of all, would you like and subscribe? You gotta like and subscribe, and put on the notifications. We're trying to hit 100. We're trying to hit as many subscriptions as Malik Beasley hits threes by the end of the year. We need your help to do that. It's also free. It's also really easy. And if you subscribe, if you're notified, you'll know when these podcasts are on. Then you can just sink on in. We don't put out that much stuff. We ain't putting out millions of shorts for you to see, although the shorts, they come out. Shorts come out. Fun stuff. We have a good time. But as I know I've like completely lost the point, but I wanted to ask you a question. What would be a game-changing, or I guess a playoff-changing development for the Pistons in a good way that you can realistically see happening?
A development?
Mm-hmm. Like, I'll tell you mine. This is my example.
Yeah, please.
If Dennis Schroeder's three-point ball starts to drop like it was dropping with Brooklyn early in the season, that's a big difference maker because he's shooting bad from three, but everything else he's doing is awesome.
It's hard not to just make it 3-point percentages, you know?
Yeah.
Because I could apply that to Cade. I could apply that to Bias, both of whom have been, you know, like not the best lately.
Right. It's also what Keith
Tobias lately has actually been okay, but on the season he's down compared to his usual average. I really think seeing Asar ball handling allow Cade to play off ball, because I love Schroeder in various lineups, particularly running the bench unit. Like, things have been so much. He has not been shooting well at all, and I'm still so glad to have him on. Like, he's still very consistently putting up, like, you know, 10 and 5 if Cade plays, like 17 and 10 if he doesn't, you know. But I think really, I'll say improved ball handling confidence from Asar, opening up Cade to more off-ball scoring opportunities is something that I would love to see, because I think not only would that throw off defenses, it also helps you sustain Cade throughout what is going to be a grind.
Yeah, it is going to be a grind. And I mean, I would love to see it. I just love to see it for his development in general. And like, if his handle gets tighter, if his awareness at the rim around rim protectors improves, so he finishes like a little bit better. You know, it's almost like we talked about Ivy like this a lot last year, where he's got like this full head of steam and it's hard to like slow down. I think sometimes Asar's brain is moving faster than his body is like able to handle it. And his body's moving like super fast. So it's just not like completely aligned. But if that comes together, he's going to be such an unstoppable player and such a crazy threat on this team, both defensively and offensively. I know you're a big J-Mac fan over on the over on the Timberwolves. That would make him way more valuable than Jaden McDaniels, just from an offensive standpoint.
Oh, absolutely. I also think he's a better defender than J-Mac, and I think J-Mac's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
Hey. Yeah, you bringing up how Asar sometimes plays fast, or like his body moves faster than his brain can like keep up with, or than his like control can keep up with. That's like Ivy used to be, kind of. It's also kind of how Ron is now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll add as another one, you know, when shit gets ratcheted up a little bit, Cade might be doubled. They might be all over Malik. Someone's going to be left open. And if that's Ron and he starts making teams pay, and he really starts like carving out a role for himself, not because the game plan is for the offense to run through him, but just because the coverage of other teams, if he becomes that guy, that could be really interesting for next season. And it would be surprising, to be clear.
Yeah.
But he's relentless and pesky. And if he can just like strike a balance, whew.
Man, I cannot wait for him to gain weight and for him to overcome his like little rookie-isms that happened. Like
Yeah.
in the last game he was playing, he had some like kind of rough takes, some little turnovers. And again, 19 years old. Like he's going to get more comfortable. He's assimilating to his role right now. But the flashes from Ron are more than just flashes. It's like it's like Aurora Borealis. It's a thing of beauty, just like bright lights in the sky.
Gorgeous.
Just
Beautiful illusion.
thank you. What can I say? It's really incredible. I'm so geeked for this team. I'm so geeked for the playoffs coming up. I'm so geeked for them to potentially have the best record that they have had since Flip Saunders led them to first in the division in 2007, 2008. They just need 3 more wins. Can they get 3 more wins over these
I think so.
next 6? I think so too. On our last show, we guessed, I said what? I think 7-2 over the final 9. They're 1-2, so they can't lose anymore if I'm going to be right. What do you think they're going to get to now? Did you say like 5-4 or something?
I think I said 5-4.
Okay.
I'll stick with that.
5-4. Okay. Well, hopefully they can go 6-0 so I can be right. But maybe if they win 4, that's fine.
You got this.
Fingers crossed. All the fingers crossed. And one last time, give us a like. Give us a subscribe.
Please.
It's so easy. It's so
Do it for the dog.
Oh,
Don't do it for me.
So
Do it for the little puppy.
Such a sweetie pie.
Please.
Do you want more dog tent? Our intent is to give you more dog tent. If you're content with that,
We'll give you whatever you want. But you got to let us know. You got to like and you got to subscribe.
Yeah, you got to be there. Follow us on Substack. Follow us on Blue Sky. We're on Apple Pods, we're on Spotify, we're on all that stuff. But we're here. We're typically here on Thursdays. Next week, I believe, probably on a Friday, I think is what's going on.
Yeah, I think there's a game. There's a game on. Is there?
Yeah, so next week, Thursday, Friday are New York Bucks, the back-to-back. But if it's not those days, maybe it's Wednesday. It's going to be one of the two. It's either Wednesday.
Maybe it's Saturday as well. Because I think there's a back-to-back. So we'll let you know. We'll let you know.
But if you got to be notified, you have the notifications on. If you're subscribed, it won't be a problem.
It's easier for you. We're just trying to make things easier for you. We don't even care about us.
Well,
okay, maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
All right, we got
with my dog barking, your dog looking super cute.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with another episode.
Thank you so much.
It's so nice of you. I'm happy. I hope you're feeling as good about the Pistons as we are. Truly, even in this 2-game losing streak, I'm feeling pretty damn good about this team. And I think you should be too. Mickey, I assume you are as well.
I am. And what I want y'all to do is comment your juice levels down below. Let us know your juice levels.
Your concentration of juice.
Yes. What's
at?
The pulp situation?
How pulped up are you on your juice?
Heavy pulp. Heavy.
So with that, that's been another episode of Order of the Blazing Horse. We end every episode the same way, saying,
we sure do.
H, the way a horse would.